some new laws start tomorrow in California.
All right, here with a look rather into what's coming in 2026. Fox 5 legal analyst Wendy Patrick. So many little changes just pop up January, right?
You know, it's true, and I love spending New Year's Eve morning with you guys every year. I wore my New Year's outfit, but Heather totally upstaged me with those pants.
You can't beat the pants.
Glitter.
I can't even compete with that. But this year we have 800 new laws, over 800. You know, and it's hard to even try to parse out what's the most interesting because in California we like to cover every category imaginable, everything from bag bans to tortillas to driving to cell phones in schools and everything in between.
Okay, let's start. Smartphones in school. What is the Phone Free School Act? And then how are they going to enforce this?
That's right. So this is the bell-to-bell ban, as we affectionately call this idea. And, you know, there's pros and cons to having students access to cell phones during the day. Obviously, a lot of the cons are some of the things we talked about post-pandemic. We talked about the failure to socialize and interact and engage in a school environment, which includes getting to know both your peers and interacting with teachers. And then, you know, Shelly, you asked a great question. How do you enforce it? The way you try to enforce a law where you know kids are going to try to get around it really detracts from the bonding between parents and between teachers and students. I mean, if you try to sneak them in, and where do you have them? What are you going to search students? Are you going to, you know, look for evidence and indication that they're not paying attention? These are the kinds of things that make it not only challenging but dissatisfied in terms of the learning environment, which should be conducive to actually learning in the classroom. Parents sometimes fight back against complete bans because they want to be able to get a hold of their students in the case of an emergency. If, God forbid, bullets start flying. I mean, we live in a day and age where one of the parents' nightmares is having a school on lockdown and having no way.
No communication.
No communication, no way to reach your kid.
It's a very good point. Speaking of, everything seems to be, how do you enforce this? How do you enforce this?
I know.
Assembly Bill 49 puts a stop to immigration enforcement in non-public school areas. How's that going to be enforced, Wendy?
Well, it's probably going to be enforced in the public area. And I thought the same thing, Raul. I thought, wait a minute, as a practical matter, how is this going to work? Now, remember, if there's a valid warrant or a court order, you are allowed to go wherever you need to go to enforce it. But as a practical matter, that is not going to be appreciated by the schools that may not know the intricacies and nuance of some of these laws. They may read the headline and say, oh, wait a minute, I know what this is about. ICE is not allowed in the school. Well, that's not what the law says. But that, too, is rife with problems in terms of how do you grant access? How do you prove you have lawful access? What is a public versus a non-public area?
Right.
You know, we always have a lot of fun with these kind of, you know, what does that look like in practice if an ICE agent shows up at a school? Remember, another new law, they can't show up with a mask. No more masks. I mean, they all sort of overlap in a sense that they're looking at every year. How do we implement laws that we really need in this particular jurisdiction or in this state? And that's one of them.
Okay, I want to go from schools now to the roads. Drivers, listen up. Big changes coming. A bunch of new laws for traffic. Which ones are like the big ones?
I think the big ones are going to be the ability of the transportation department to lower the speed limit. Now, lots of us remember growing up when it was 55 on the freeway.
Remember that?
Remember that?
So what are they
Now that's
doing?
the parking lot speed.
Right, exactly. Well, so when they raised 55 to 65, everybody said, you know, that's a sign of the times. You have to go the speed of traffic. Now, Shawley, 5 miles less is what the traffic department is going to be allowed to do if they choose to. And in school zones, that is something that not only, whether or not they want to do it by 2031, it's going to be 20, not 25. So they're looking now at the fact that they shouldn't be looking to raise speed limits because we're just seeing too many accidents. Maybe there are too many cars on the road. Maybe, you know, Teslas go faster. I don't know. They're always trying to sort of roll with the trends and how people are driving and also look at how to make the streets safer. So along those lines, one of the other rules is going to be, what do you do if you see somebody with their hazards on? You can't just whiz past them and buzz them, you know, like you see happening in the air sometimes.
Oh, you can't?
You've got to be, you have to either slow down or move around them. You have to really treat that separately because too many people on the side of the road with hazards on are getting hit from behind. It's now become a very dangerous situation because people are driving too fast.
I want to get to this last question, but there's a grace period for all the traffic laws and everything?
30 days for the traffic laws.
Okay.
A significant number of laws go into effect tomorrow morning.
Got it.
Tomorrow morning being 12:01.
1201.
So don't think I didn't hear when you said at the beginning something about tortillas.
Oh, you bet.
Tortillas.
Tortillas.
What's happening with tortillas? What's going on?
Well, tortillas now have to have more nutritious ingredients in them specifically, and they're looking at folic acid. They're looking at things that help babies, that help newborns, that help pregnant women within the first trimester. This has never been a rule before. And I also say this is also a sign of the times. You know, I wish that everybody could see the expressions you guys have. Because that's exactly right. People are saying like, huh?
But that one specific food as opposed to...
Well, remember, they're looking at, you know, how do you benefit the Latina community, the Latino community? You know, people that consume foods more frequently than others that may have unique proclivities towards certain types of things. So they're really looking at what's the population of California, in the same way that you would be looking at if we're talking about a product that children more than adults eat. What is the makeup of a child, and what types of things are they uniquely vulnerable to? How do we then demand that foods meet that need? Remember, we've seen this all over the country with things like banning soft drinks, banning portion size. Well, now we're looking more specifically at how do we improve the nutrition of the people that live in California, and that's specifically with us. We're a border town.
Yeah.
That's going to really benefit us.
Can you imagine, what was that, 4 things out of 800 new laws?
I know.
Wendy
I know.
Patrick?
And when we look at it, we just have to kind of think about what is the most, and by the way, just so you know how much, 0.7 milligrams of folic acid per pound of corn flour. That's what the new law is going to require.
Oh, okay.
So measure it out.
There you measure it out indeed. Wendy Patrick, thank you. Happy New Year.